Stop chasing. Stop forcing. Stop exhausting yourself in a desperate attempt to make things happen. Because the greatest secret you will ever learn is this: when you do nothing, in the way Neville Goddard taught, you receive everything. When Neville spoke of doing nothing, he wasn't talking about laziness or giving up on life. He wasn't telling you to sit in a corner and let the world pass you by. He was revealing something infinitely deeper, a spiritual law that governs the creation of your reality. We have been programmed to believe that the more we struggle, the harder we work, the more effort we put in, the more deserving we become. But what if I told you that this very mindset is what keeps you trapped in a cycle of lack? Because in the world of spirit, in the realm where creation truly happens, effort is not the currency. Striving is not the language. Faith is. Assumption is. The inner knowing that what you desire is already yours, that's the real power. Neville taught that creation is finished. Everything you will ever desire already exists in what he called the fourth-dimensional world. Your dream life, your success, your relationship, your healing. It's all there, waiting for you to step into the state where it already belongs to you. But here's the problem: when you keep trying to get there, you are silently affirming that you are not there yet. And the law of assumption is ruthless in its consistency. It reflects exactly what you are assuming to be true in this very moment. If you assume you are still waiting, the wait continues. If you assume it hasn't happened yet, it won't. So what does doing nothing actually mean? It means you stop the frantic search outside of yourself and start dwelling in the inner reality where it is already done. You stop questioning, when will it come? And start living as if it's here. You become the version of you who already has it, not in a few months, not someday, but now. Before we go any further, let me tell you something that will change how you listen to the rest of this message. If you're here, watching this right now, it's not by accident. Something within you has been calling for this truth, for this reminder. And I want you to commit, right now, to not just hearing it, but living it. So here's what I'm going to ask. Subscribe to this channel, because this is where we explore not just theory, but transformation. And as you keep listening, let this sink in. The moment you stop chasing, you start receiving. Neville used to say, "You are already that which you seek, but your refusal to believe it keeps you from experiencing it." This is where most people stumble. They think they have to earn their desires. They think there's a certain amount of work, a certain level of worthiness, or some kind of cosmic approval they have to achieve before they can have what they want. But in truth, you don't manifest because you've done enough. You manifest because you've aligned yourself with the state where it's already real. And that alignment doesn't require sweat, it requires surrender. Doing nothing means removing the resistance that your constant doing has built up. Every time you say, "I have to figure this out," you're reinforcing the idea that you don't already have it. Every time you obsessively check if your desire has shown up yet, you're planting seeds of doubt. Neville's message was radical because it challenges everything we've been taught since childhood. The world says, work harder, push more, grind until you get there. But the law says, enter the state now, and reality will rearrange itself to match it. It's like tuning a radio. The music you want to hear is already being broadcast. You don't have to create it. You don't have to force it. You simply tune your frequency to the station that's already playing your song. That's what doing nothing is. Tuning in, aligning, assuming the end as if it's done. And this is where many people misinterpret Neville. They think, if I just sit here and imagine, life will drop everything in my lap. But doing nothing is not passive. It's active in the unseen. It's deliberately choosing, moment by moment, to inhabit the reality you prefer. In your mind, in your emotions, in your assumptions. When you truly master this, you will see that the outer world begins to move without your effort. Opportunities appear. People cross your path. Situations shift in ways you could never have orchestrated. That's the power of surrender to the law. In a moment, I'll give you a simple exercise to feel this truth right now, so that it's not just something you understand mentally, but something you experience in your body. But before we go there, remember this: every time you force, you delay. Every time you rest in faith, you accelerate. Here's the exercise I promised. And if you do this sincerely, even just once, you will feel a shift. Close your eyes. Take a slow breath in and let it out gently. Now, bring to mind one desire you've been holding on to, something you truly want. See it. Feel it. But here's the key, don't imagine yourself trying to get it. Imagine yourself already having it. Imagine that the moment you open your eyes, it will be done in the physical world. Notice the difference between wanting and having. When you want something, there's tension. There's a subtle ache, a gap between you and it. But when you have it, there's peace. There's gratitude. There's no rush because you know it's already yours. Now, in this inner space, live as if it's already done. Feel the relief. Feel the joy. Let your shoulders drop. Let your breath deepen. That sensation you're feeling? That's the state Neville called the end. And your only job is to stay there, not forcefully, but naturally, like you're remembering something that has already happened. When you open your eyes after this exercise, the outer world might not look different yet, but something inside you has changed. And that change is the seed. If you keep watering it with assumption instead of doubt, it has no choice but to grow into your reality. This is why Neville insisted that you do your work in imagination and then live your life normally. Because the moment you start checking for results, you've left the state. The moment you start pushing again, you've slipped back into the belief that it's not done. Doing nothing isn't laziness. It's discipline of the mind. It's holding the state no matter what the senses say. It's trusting that the unseen is more real than the seen, until the seen rearranges itself. So today, I challenge you, take 5 minutes to live in the end. Not halfway, not hoping, but knowing. And every time your mind tries to drag you back into doubt, remember, the work is done. You are already it. Now, here's where most people sabotage themselves without realizing it. They plant the seed in imagination, but then they dig it up every day to check if it's growing. Imagine doing that with a real seed in the ground, it would never sprout. And yet, when it comes to the seed of your assumption, we do this all the time with worry, with impatience, with thoughts like, why hasn't it happened yet? Neville called this the sin of doubt. Not sin in a moral sense, but in the sense of missing the mark, stepping out of alignment with the state of the wish fulfilled. The moment you question whether it's working, you're back in the state of not having. So, what does doing nothing look like in practice? It means going about your day without mentally undoing what you've done in imagination. It means refusing to speak or think in ways that contradict the reality you've claimed. If you've assumed you're already wealthy, you don't talk about being broke. If you've assumed you're already loved, you don't dwell on loneliness. This is the art. Not forcing the outer world to change, but refusing to let the inner world be corrupted. Neville used to tell his students, your imagination is God in action. And if God has declared the end from the beginning, your role is not to rewrite the script with doubt. Your role is to let it unfold exactly as you've seen it in your mind. So here's a second exercise for you. Throughout the day, catch yourself when you start to check for results. When that urge comes, stop and say to yourself, it is finished. Not, it will be. Not, I hope it is. But it is. Repeat it until you feel the peace of it. Because when you can hold that peace, even while your senses scream the opposite, you've mastered the art Neville was teaching. That's the moment you truly do nothing. And that's when everything begins to move. There's a beautiful irony in this teaching. The less you try in the outer world, the faster things rearrange themselves to match your inner state. Not because you've stopped taking action altogether, but because your actions are now inspired, effortless, and aligned, instead of being driven by fear or lack. When you stop pushing, you give life permission to surprise you. You open the door for the bridge of incidents that Neville spoke about, a natural chain of events that carries you to your desire without strain. Sometimes, this bridge looks like meeting the right person at the right time. Sometimes, it's an unexpected phone call, an opportunity, or a sudden idea that feels almost too simple to be the answer. But it is. And here's the truth, You couldn't have planned it better if you tried. That's the power of doing nothing. You allow the infinite intelligence within you to orchestrate the perfect route, a route you could never map out from your limited perspective. Think of it like floating down a river instead of trying to swim upstream. The current knows where it's going. It doesn't need your frantic paddling, it needs your trust. So today, I want you to test this. Instead of asking, "What should I do next?" ask, "What would I do if it were already done?" Then do only that. Let it be enough. If the answer is, "I'd be relaxed, I'd enjoy my coffee, I'd smile more," then do exactly that, because you're not acting as if, you're living as it. This is the great paradox of manifestation. The moment you stop searching for proof, proof shows up everywhere. The moment you stop chasing, what you desire starts chasing you. Remember Neville's words, "A change of feeling is a change of destiny." Feel the change now, and destiny has no choice but to obey. By now, you might be feeling a strange combination of relief and discomfort. Relief because this message gives you permission to rest. Discomfort because your old conditioning will scream, "This can't be enough. You have to work harder." That voice comes from years of being taught that effort equals worthiness, that results come only through sweat and struggle. But Neville's teaching flips that belief on its head. He wasn't telling you to abandon all activity, he was telling you to abandon unnecessary activity, the kind born from panic, doubt, and desperation. When you enter the state of the wish fulfilled, your job is to maintain that state, not to keep forcing the outer world to match it. The outer will conform, it has no choice. But if you jump in too soon to help, you end up rearranging the pieces in a way that delays the very thing you wanted. Think about a cake in the oven. Once it's baking, the worst thing you can do is keep opening the door to check if it's ready. All you're doing is letting the heat escape and slowing the process. In the same way, your manifestation is already in the oven. Keep the door shut. Let it rise. And here's a powerful practice to anchor this in. Every time you feel the urge to fix your reality, close your eyes and spend 60 seconds seeing yourself at the end. Not on the way there, already there. Imagine the relief, the gratitude, the sense of course, that comes when you've received exactly what you wanted. Let that become your dominant state. Because if you can hold it, reality will have no choice but to follow. And before we go further, if this message is resonating with you, remember to follow this channel. This way, you'll never miss the next revelation that could completely shift your perspective and accelerate your manifestation journey. There's something liberating about realizing you don't have to micromanage the universe. For so long, we've been told to hustle, to grind every single day, as if the only way to get what we want is to wear ourselves out in the process. But Neville's approach is entirely different. He understood that the creative power doesn't come from the outside in, it flows from the inside out. And once the seed is planted in your imagination, the soil of your subconscious knows exactly how to make it grow. This is why doing nothing is actually the most potent action you can take. You're removing interference. You're stepping out of the way. You're letting the seed take root without digging it up every day to see if it's growing. Neville called it living in the end, the art of moving through your day with the quiet confidence that it is already done. Not on its way. Not almost here. Done. Final. Complete. And here's the beautiful twist. When you truly accept this, life begins to feel lighter. You start noticing that things fall into place without you forcing them. You find yourself in the right conversations, the right places, the right timing, almost as if reality itself is conspiring to prove you right. Let's make this practical right now. Think of one desire you've been overcomplicating. For the next 24 hours, refuse to do anything about it in the physical world. Instead, anytime your mind drifts to it, imagine the scene where you already have it. Feel the naturalness of it. Then let it go. Watch what happens. Neville once said, "Be still and know that you are God." In that stillness lies the real power. Here's something few people are willing to admit. Most of our action is just a desperate attempt to convince ourselves we're making progress. It's not strategic. It's not aligned. It's noise. Neville's wisdom cuts through that noise like a blade. He teaches that the moment you've imagined the end with full conviction, the bridge of incidents begins to form, and this bridge will carry you to the fulfillment without you having to map out every single step. Think of it as a current in the ocean. If you fight it, you'll exhaust yourself. If you trust it, it will take you exactly where you need to go. That's the difference between forced action and inspired action. Forced action feels heavy, urgent, anxious. Inspired action feels light, inevitable, and often surprising. When you do nothing in Neville's sense, you're not lying on the couch ignoring life. You're positioning yourself in such a way that every movement you make is guided, precise, and perfectly timed, because it comes from the state of the wish fulfilled. And here's where it gets exciting. When you stop running in circles, life starts delivering the pieces of your desire in ways you couldn't have planned. You'll look back and realize that all those detours and delays were actually part of the fastest route possible. Tonight, I want you to try this. Before you sleep, close your eyes and replay the moment after your wish has been fulfilled. See the details. Hear the sounds. Feel the texture of your new reality. Then drift off to sleep holding that feeling. Neville called this the state akin to sleep, and it's one of the most powerful gateways to manifestation. And if this is opening your eyes to a whole new way of living, remember to follow this channel. Every week, we share insights that can completely reshape the way you manifest your life. And here's the truth that might just change everything for you. The universe has been waiting for you to stop interfering. Every moment you spend doubting, overthinking, or checking to see if it's working is like pulling the seed out of the soil before it has the chance to sprout. Neville warned about this. He said that impatience is simply disbelief in disguise. You can't claim to have faith in something and, at the same time, keep looking for proof that it's happening. Faith is the proof. The feeling is the evidence. When you truly accept the wish fulfilled, you'll notice something extraordinary. The absence of pressure. You no longer feel the frantic need to rush or to make things happen. Instead, you move with calm certainty, because in your inner world, it's already done. And since the outer world is only a reflection of the inner, it has no choice but to match it. This is the paradox Neville mastered. The less you try to control, the more life aligns with you. The less you chase, the more it comes to you. The less you cling, the more it stays. So here's my challenge to you. For the next 3 days, live as though your biggest desire is already yours. Not as if it's coming, but as if it's here now. Let your words, your posture, your energy reflect that reality. And when doubt tries to creep in, return to the scene you imagined and dwell there. And if this message has struck a chord within you, make sure to follow and share this with someone who needs to hear it. The more we spread this truth, the more people will discover that the real secret to having everything is to stop trying to force anything. Remember Neville's timeless words. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and your assumption will harden into fact. That's the entire game. Play it well.